In today's climate, nothing will make you a more accurate or confident shooter than Crimson Trace laser sighting systems. Get the immediate, decisive advantage of the world's only grip-integrated laser sights today. Shoot better. Stay safer. Crimson Trace.
This week on Tom Gresham's Gun Talk, Tom's talking midterm elections and what the next 2 years might look like. Also, the state of the gun industry from one of the nation's premier firearms dealers. A new book on hunting optics and your range reports. To be on the air with your question or comment, call Tom now at 1-866-TALK-GUN. Now, here's Tom Gresham.
Oh, baby, we're going to have some fun today. We got a lot of things to talk about. Tom Gresham here. It's Gun Talk. I'm on the road. I'm actually down about as far as you can go without a passport. I'm down in Key West, Florida. Down here just, trying to catch my breath after the elections and as we get ready for this crazy trade show season, as we head toward the SHOT Show. We have tons of new guns to talk about. In fact, this is my second time to this part of the world in this week, looking at some new guns. We've been doing some videos on new guns. We'll be releasing those very soon. Oh, by the way, if you haven't looked at it, be sure to go to our channel, our Gun Talk channel on YouTube, and check out the little, I think it's about a minute and a half, 2-minute video we did. It's a little teaser from the Lady 3-Gun Championship. We talked about that last week, so we put together a quick little piece on that. If you go to the Gun Talk Media, look for that on YouTube, you can check that out. So that's a pretty cool look at what was a really interesting event. And of course, we are all breathing a sigh of relief, even for no other reason than we're not having to watch and listen to all those political commercials anymore, unless you happen to live in a state with a runoff, as I do, Louisiana. Although it's not much of a runoff. I think the Democrats have pulled the plug on Mary Landrieu, took her off of life support there, at least her political campaign, and they're just tossing her to the side of the road, figuring that she's not going to win anyway, so why pour any money into that? But it was a momentous election day, and most of it was good. Not all of it was good. And joining me to talk about this right now is my favorite prognosticator and analyzer of the tea leaves, Alan Gottlieb from the Second Amendment Foundation. Hello, Alan. How are you?
I'm doing great, Tom. Good to be with you.
Well, I'm glad you could be with us. I know that you worked yourself down to an absolute nub on this election, and particularly with the initiative in Washington State. And we'll hold that off for just a second. As you look at the national elections that we just had on Tuesday, what's your overall impression at this point as far as gun owners' gun rights go?
Well, overall, nationally, it's definitely a plus. But it's not a giant knockout victory for us. I mean, I'm not happy with the fact that the governor of Connecticut, is back in place. We almost knocked out the governor of Colorado, and if we did, we would have been able to repeal the bad laws that were passed last year in Colorado. They're not going to get repealed now because he just barely won. There's a number of places that we still have problems at. It was definitely on a national level. We've really shut down the bad guys in Congress. It's not as good a victory as say the Republicans got overall, because some of the Democrats that lost in the United States Senate were pro-gun, but we had to get rid of them, quite frankly, just to get rid of Harry Reid and change all the committee chairmen so that Obama couldn't move his agenda in the Senate. So the bottom line is it's really a plus all the way down the line. And the other good thing is in an awful lot of states, there's a lot of pro-gun state legislators that got elected and have flipped some legislatures in our favor. So overall, it's really good. There are some obviously sad spots like in Washington State with the initiative battle. If it weren't for that, I'd be jumping up and down and saying we really had a pretty good knockout victory.
It is interesting you mentioned that, and this is just the way politics is, we actually had to lose some friends who were Democrats in order for us to get control of the Senate so we could get Harry Reid out of the way. And that's just the nature of the beast. It's pretty much bare knuckles, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. The bright side is, again, we changed all the committees. We changed the flow of legislation, which we needed to do, and shut down that Obama anti-gun agenda. The bad news is the issues now become that much more partisan because, like it or not, we need Democrats on our side as well. And we lost a batch of them that were on our side. and that makes it more partisan. And when over time the pendulum swings both ways, and when it swings back if the Democrats are in control, we don't have as many friends on the Democratic side of the aisle as we used to. So there's pluses and minuses, but overall, I think we got to be pretty happy.
Yeah, I was particularly disappointed in that we did not remove Hickenlooper as governor of Colorado. I really thought we had a good chance on that one.
I thought we had it, and again, what happened there is Bloomberg came in the last month with a lot of money to help support him and prop him up. And it's interesting. Pro-gun groups had a very, very good win record in this election cycle, but unfortunately, Bloomberg had a pretty good win record as well. The anti-gun PAC that lost was Gabby Giffords. She only hit about 50-50 for who she supported. Bloomberg was way up there in the 80s because overall we were up there at about 90%. But the bottom line is that money from the other side does influence elections.
Well, and I think that's something we ought to at least touch on, is that I know that there's always been money, big money in elections, but it seemed to me that I've never seen money in elections dedicated specifically to go to gun control causes. The Bloomberg money, the Tom Skiles money, the Bill Gates money, the Microsoft money, all of that was specifically directed to push gun control.
Gun control directly on the ballot and or anti-gun candidates to make sure that they won. Mm-hmm. So yeah, and it was aimed directly at that. And now we were outspent. I mean, the pro-gun side nationally was the gun issue itself was totally outspent. And unfortunately, that's going to continue. That isn't going to go away.
What's the strategy then? Because, I mean, you are a long-term strategist on this. When we're looking at this, and I think we just saw a sea change happen. I think we have billionaires who say, hey, I could just reach in my pocket and pull out a little bit of change, and it can affect elections. Because if you're a Bill Gates or one of these guys, or Bloomberg, you could drop literally 10 million, 20 million, 30 million, and it's a rounding error in your budget.
Yeah, and one of the problems with the gun rights movement is when we raise our money in our $10 and $15 and $25 contributions, it costs us money to raise that, and it takes a lot of time. The other side doesn't have any cost of fundraising, and it takes them two minutes to write a $1 million check.
Right.
That's something that I don't know how we totally overcome. In the past, our grassroots was always stronger, and our money was stronger. One of the problems their money is now doing is they're building and buying a grassroots structure. When they open these ballot measures and work on these groups around the country that they're building, they don't go away after the election. They stay and they're going to continually be funded. So all of a sudden there's employees on the other side in various states building grassroots structure. They've built mailing lists, email lists. They know where some of their voters are. They're building structure. They have PR people working with the media in those states. Those people are being left behind to continue to attack us.
And I want to make sure people understand the kind of levels we're talking about. We're not talking about being a little bit outspent. We're talking about being outspent on 5-1, 8-1, 10-1. People spending 10 times as much money as we spend so they can push their gun ban agenda.
Yeah, and that's really scary. I mean, and I don't know how we come up with the money. I don't know any billionaires out there willing to support us, so to speak. And there's no doubt that some of the world's wealthiest, elitist billionaires went and bought ballot measures and have bought candidates in this last election.
Right. All right, well, let's go straight to the Washington State Initiative because that's the big one. You have two measures on the ballot there, 594, the anti-gun rights initiative passed there. Not a background check bill, but in essence, it makes it very easy for you to get yourself charged with a crime, even with a felony, for loaning a gun to someone. This, and you said early on, you said, guys, we have to work on this because this is going to start in Washington State and then it's going to go elsewhere. They've already announced their plans, haven't they?
Oh, yeah. I mean, let me back it up just a second. I was working around the clock on this for 18 months. And, of course, other people finally got involved pretty late in the game, and it was really kind of too late and didn't quite go with the whole strategy. The reason we pushed 591 and opposing 594 was that the term background check sounds popular to people, and when you know you get millions of dollars behind it, I knew you couldn't beat it directly. So by putting 591 on the ballot, which would conflict with it, which would send it off to court and basically nullify it in a way that could win, we actually ran a whole lot of points better in the election, but didn't get over the 50% marker, because in the last 2 weeks, the other side spent a couple $1 million against us that we didn't have to fight back with. But the problem, and this is their strategy, they've already collecting signatures now in Nevada. Mm-hmm. And they've already announced they're doing it in 2016 in Oregon and Arizona. But They now, and actually at Maine as well. But they also have a list now of 17, 18 target states where there are initiatives and referendum on the ballot that they're going to go for. And they're really going to do it. And the problem is that when it comes to the vote of the people and you talk about background check, it sounds kind of nice to an awful lot of people out there. But what happened here in Washington is it wasn't just a background check, as you were saying, Tom. What this is that, it's loans of guns. You want to loan your hunting buddy a gun to go shooting. You're committing a crime. You want to loan your sister-in-law a handgun to protect herself overnight. You're committing a crime. States like California and Colorado, who passed a bad law last year, and Massachusetts, on their private party background check things, they have temporary exemptions, for transfers for loans. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. In Washington State, it's a 1-minute transfer. You do it, you just hand it over, and you could be arrested and go to jail.
All right, let me ask you the pointed question, and I have gotten this question so many times in emails and calls. People say, and you were on the ground there, and I know we don't like to air our dirty laundry, but where the heck was the NRA?
Well, they never endorsed 591, which was a smart strategy to won the election. All the police groups, all the political groups endorsed it. The National Shooting Sports Foundation endorsed it, but the NRA wouldn't work with it at all. They did spend about close to $500,000 roughly, and I don't think it was very spent wisely. The NRA did not run one TV ad, one radio ad, or one newspaper ad against 594. It was more like preaching to the choir, just to show that they were doing something to their base. And they came in very late with it. I'm glad they did something. I mean, I'm not going to knock them for that, but they surely were not there to be all in, so to speak, or to quote unquote stand and fight and be there against Bloomberg and his money. They weren't willing on the one place where the issue was on a ballot head on to sit out there and make sure we had a fighting chance to win. And of course, that just empowers the other side now, and now they're going to run that much more wild over everybody. So yeah, I don't like airing the dirty laundry either. But the NRA chose. We had a state coalition of all the state gun groups, the Washington Arms Collectors, the NRA's state association, the Washington State Rifle and Pistol Association, the Hunters Heritage Council. But the NRA would not work with the rest of us. It just did their thing independently.
All right, now we get to fight this all over again in state after state after state. Alan, how do we stop it?
Boy, I wish I knew, Tom, for sure, because we don't have the kind of money to fight it, and they're building momentum behind it, and they've learned a lot in this battle on the other side as well, and it's really going to be a problem. Each time we lose, the next fight's more costly, and that's why we need to invest the money up front and not wait to do it at the end. So, I mean, I really do not know. My heart goes out for the other states this is going to happen in, and my big concern is I think it's going to be harder for those sides to win in the states, say, like Arizona, but they have a very great shot at it. If they win in a state like Arizona, that's like a dagger in our heart, because Arizona is, quote-unquote, constitutional carry. And if they're able to come out and win in a state like that, they set our agenda back decades.
Absolutely. Alan, listen, thank you so much. Thanks for everything you do. We're not done. We're never going to be done, and we all have to kind of re-up and sign up, because this battle is just going to continue on and on. Thank you for your help, sir, and we'll get you back on with an update when you've caught your breath.
Thank you, Tom.
All right, you take care, Alan Gottlieb. Well, there you go, 866-TALK-GUN. What do you think? What do you think of Alan's comments? What do you think of the fact that we're going to have to continue to fight this thing? 866-TALK-GUN.
In the field or on the range, you need a trigger you can trust. For over 60 years, Timney triggers have been trusted by hunters and shooters everywhere. A Timney trigger could mean the difference between a great shot and a miss. Timney triggers are proudly made in the USA and come with a lifetime warranty. To order, go to TimneyTriggers.com. That's TIMNEY Triggers.com.
Long-range shooting is challenging and fun, but most precision rifle bullets aren't right for hunting. Nosler's AccuBond LR long-range bullets are designed specifically for hunters. They combine the incredible on-game performance AccuBond bullets have delivered around the world with incredible long-range properties. High ballistic coefficients make for bullets which shoot flat and defy the winds. The sleekest, flattest shooting, bonded hunting bullet ever designed. Nosler's AccuBond LR. For more info, visit nosler.com.
The Ruger American Rimfire Rifle combines features of the Ruger American Rifle and innovations of the 1022 Rimfire Rifle to appeal to all bolt-action enthusiasts. It features a modular stock system that provides comb height options for scope or iron sight use, a power bedding integral bedding block system for outstanding accuracy, a Ruger Marksman adjustable trigger, and a 1022 style rotary magazine for reliable feeding. The Ruger American Rimfire Rifle, another rugged, reliable firearm from Ruger.
For 36 years, the U.S. Sportsmen's Alliance has been fighting to protect hunting, fishing, and trapping for sportsmen from coast to coast. Today, we are under constant attack from extremist animal rights groups who want to end your ability to hunt in the U.S. Join us to protect our sporting heritage and our way of life outdoors. To join or for more information on how you can help, go to ussportsman.org. That's ussportsman.org.
In today's climate, you always need to be ready. Nothing will make you a more accurate or confident shooter than Crimson Trace laser sighting systems. Get the immediate, decisive advantage of the world's only grip-integrated laser sights. Shoot better. Stay safer. Call 800-442-2406 or visit crimsontrace.com for a free copy of our new laser training video, The Laser's Edge.
All right, we are back with the Tom Gresham here. 866-TALK-GUN gets you in here. Also, you can shoot me an email, tom@guntalk.com. Over on Twitter, we're at Gun Talk. A lot of things going on. You can, of course, always listen to Gun Talk on your Gun Talk app on your smartphone for your iPhone or your Android phone. Get the Gun Talk app. By the way, if you have an Android phone, you got to go to Amazon to pick that up. I don't think it's on the Android store. I'm an iPhone guy, so I'm not quite sure, but I'm pretty sure you have to go to Amazon to pick that up. 866-TALK-GUN will get you in there. If you've got a range report, we'd love to get that. We have a lot of folks who send us some cool range reports. It's always fun to get those because, well, I can't shoot all the guns myself, okay? So, you're out there shooting them. You're testing stuff. So there you go. I've got, let's see here. An email from Wes says, I'm 56. I'm at the point where I can buy the guns I wanted back when I couldn't afford them. Lately, I've had the desire for a Ruger Old Army. Seems like Ruger quit making them a while ago. Says, could you ask them if they plan to make them again? Well, I can ask. They're not going to tell me. They're just not. Also, he says, he's like everybody else. Can you possibly get Ruger to start making the 44 mag auto-loading carbine? Everybody wants them to bring that rifle back. And I'm not sure I really understand why they don't. There's got to be some specific reason. Because if you have a lot of people saying, we want this gun, and you could sell it, and they're not making it, there had to be something, some mechanical things. I don't know. I don't know what it is. And I ask them, they always say, yeah, we get that a lot, but we don't get it. We don't think it's enough of a market out there, which is an interesting question. I've never quite gotten real straight answers from gun makers, and I guess it depends on the gun maker. How many guns do you have to sell to make it worthwhile to bring out a new model? And if it's like just a variation, I say, well, if it's a new barrel length, a finish or something, then probably they could sell 3,000 or 5,000 of them, and because it's not a lot of upfront cost. But if you have to start from scratch, you have to have a new frame, you have to develop it, you have to test it, you have to do destruction testing on it, all the rest of it. I don't know what the number is. I don't know if it's a 10,000 number, if it's a 100,000 number. I just don't know. So, anyway. Line 3, Vern is called in from Bremerton, Washington. Hey, Vern, what's on your mind?
Well, right now I'm cleaning some guns. It's hunting season. It's over.
There you go.
and so I'm getting some weapons put away.
Okay.
I was just going to say, I wanted to make a comment about the NRA. I'll tell you what, I work part-time. I'm retired, but I work part-time for my good friend in Bremerton shop. It's called Borner Firearms. Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you what, from the talk I'm hearing, there are a lot of very ticked-off individuals about the NRA with absolutely no help in this campaign initiative to stop this. And they are, I tell you what, they're beside themselves. And these are people that have been going to all the fundraisers and stuff for years and years and years, supporting them. And, boy, I'll tell you, it's not good. They are ticked off.
This is in Washington State, where you just had the initiative on the ballot. And, I mean, admittedly, the NRA came in late. What are you hearing there? I mean, obviously, people are upset that we lost. I mean, I want people to understand, this wasn't a small loss. This was a major loss because it gave the anti-gunners the momentum they needed to say, okay, we figured out how to do it. We succeeded in Washington State. Now we're going to take it to a half a dozen states. Then we're going to take it to 20 states. And we're going to do it state by state, even though we couldn't get it through the Congress. So on the ground there, Vern, you're saying that the gun owners actually, I guess here's the question, were they aware of the participation of which groups were involved?
I think they were less aware, but they were fully aware of the fact that the NRA they were fully aware that the NRA had almost zero to no participation in the way of money spent to protect us from this. And that's the one thing that's really ticking them off. And they're talking about, these guys, I'm a life member myself, but they're talking about the yearly guys, I'm not even going to rejoin up. Why should I? What did they do for us? And, maybe that ain't the right attitude, but boy, you can understand those guys being that ticked off.
Yeah, I'm of two minds. I'm with you on both of that. Maybe it's not the right attitude, but maybe, I don't know. I guess the question is, how do you end up changing something? If you are a member, you say, I'm upset, I'm disappointed, I'm angry, I'm perplexed. How do you get somebody's attention? I don't know. Maybe do you get their attention through money? Do you get their attention through? I don't know. And Vern, I appreciate the call. I wanted to voice this because I am getting dozens and dozens and dozens of emails about this from people in Washington State. And basically it always starts off the same way. Where were they? Where was the NRA? They showed up late. They didn't do much. They didn't support 591. The thinking on the ground seems to be there. Well, if it wasn't invented here, wasn't invented at the NRA headquarters, they weren't going to be behind. I don't know. If you were on the ground there, I'd love to get your sense of it. 866-TALK-GUN, 866-TALK-GUN. This is Gun Talk.
Have you taken your family, friends, and kids shooting lately? You're listening to Tom Gresham's Gun Talk, and we'll be right back. Want to be a guest on the show? Drop us a line at info@guntalk.com. You're listening to Gun Talk with Tom Gresham.
All right, back with you. 866-TALK-GUN. I'll get you in here. Just dial 1-TOM-TALK-GUN. We got a lot of things coming up. We're going to be talking about different calibers. Going to talk about optics. A lot of info about optics in the next hour. Also, we'll even have some game recipes for you. Cool stuff going on. And then we're going to have an incredible giveaway we're going to be announcing in the last hour. You do not want to miss this one. We're giving away some really cool stuff this month on Gun Talk. By the way, Bill in Missouri called. Couldn't stay on the phone, but he had a question. And, Bill, this is for you. He said his trigger spoiled. Yeah, I know what you mean. Once you get used to good triggers, you can't put up with bad triggers or even average triggers. He said he's been shooting an H&K P7 M8 great pistol. It has a great trigger. He says, but the gun's too heavy. It is. It's a heavy gun. So he wanted a lighter firearm, so he bought a Smith & Wesson Shield. He says the gun's lighter, but the trigger's too heavy for his comfort. So he wanted to know if he could get a trigger job. Yes, you can get a trigger job on it, or you can do it yourself. Apex Tactical Specialties. Just go to Apex, APEX, apextactical.com. They have in fact, I'm looking, they have a sale right now on their Shield Action Enhancement Trigger, $76.95. $76.95. Apex Tactical Specialties, you can get that, put it in yourself. Yeah, I've not done it myself, but I hear they have really good reputation, and the reports are that they're making some really good triggers. So if you want to dress up your trigger, there you go. And I appreciate the call, Bill. Line 2, Joe is with us out of Houston, Texas. Hey, Joe, you trying to get icky, gunky stuff off of a gun? He's a Cosmoline guy. He's trying to get Cosmoline off of his gun. Hey, Joe, you there? Joe has left the building. Well, he had a question about how to get Cosmoline off of his gun. I don't know what kind of gun he has, since he's gone to get a sandwich or something. But I have a couple of thoughts on it, but I would love to get your suggestions on how to get Cosmoline. If you don't, by the way, if you don't know, Cosmoline is a thickish grease type anti-corrosion coating put on guns, particularly military guns. Some of the old military guns people are buying now that could be 50 years old, they were dipped. And that's the thing to understand. These are completely dipped. Stock, metal, everything is dipped in this heavy grease stuff. You must get it off the gun before you shoot it. First of all, number one, do not use gasoline. Much too flammable, got nasty stuff in it, benzene, etc. Don't use gasoline. Paint thinner, mineral spirits can work. Please put on your shooting glasses or some kind of goggles. Use a toothbrush. Take the metal parts off, because you got to get this off all the metal parts. You got to get it off the stock. You got to get it off of everything. Put it in a vat, soak it, scrub it. When you get it all that out, then use an air compressor or something to dry it off. Again, protective glasses, please, please, please. But if you've got a suggestion on how you get Cosmoline off, because it seems like there are a lot of different ways to do it, let us know. 866-TALK-GUN will get you in there. 866-TALK-GUN. Brake cleaner, yeah, brake cleaner works. Again, aerosol brake cleaner. Be very careful with that stuff. Wear glasses, for heaven's sakes, because that stuff does spray. And you talk about nasty, you get that stuff in your eyes. Lee's got an interesting question on line 1. He's out of North Bend, Oregon. Lee, you trying to deal with the shortage of .22 ammo?
Yeah.
So what's your idea here?
Well, my idea is to go out and buy a few bricks of ammo, have it shipped in, and then reselling it. Now, is there any federal laws that prohibit that?
Could be. There are a lot of people who do that. I guess the question is, do you have a source for bulk .22 ammo? I
think I've just found the source on the internet, yeah.
Okay. And then how would you be selling it?
I don't know. Probably by word of mouth. Just, once somebody finds out, they're going to say something. There's a lot of guys around here that really need .22, right? Every time I go in the store, nothing. Mm-hmm. And this has been over a year now. And I'm just kind of...
And look, there are a lot of people who sit there. There are a lot of people who wait for the truck to arrive at the big box stores. They buy up the .22 ammo, and then they mark it up and take it to gun shows. And we have very cherished words to describe some of these people. So just understand, some people will consider you to be doing them a favor, and some will consider that what you're doing is gouging. So such is life. But as far as you're not selling guns, you're selling ammo, and I'm not sure... The ATF is weird, to say the least. The ATF won't actually tell you how much you have to sell of anything to be in the business. Their attitude has always been, well, just do it, and we'll let you know if you broke the law or not. Isn't that comforting? You're going, really? They'd say, yeah, Well, I asked them, well, is it like, if I sell 6 guns, is that being in the business? Don't know. Try it. See what happens. Thanks. That's really nice. I don't think you're going to get in trouble unless you start, making this a big-time commercial deal. Also, I don't know how it's going to work for you. But, I wish you luck. And, while you're at it, send me a notice where you can buy bulk .22 ammo. I'd love to get a hold of some of that. Thanks, Lee. Appreciate that. What do you think about Lee's idea of buying bulk .22 rimfire ammo and then marking it up and reselling it locally? Have you done some of that? Do you know people who are doing that? 866-TALK-GUN will get you in here. Tell you what, quick break. We got Chuck, we got Mike, we got Debbie coming up. You guys don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more Gun Talk.
Wouldn't it be cool if you could use your AR magazines in a bolt-action rifle? Now you can with Mossberg's MVP rifles. The patent-pending design is a first for bolt-action rifles. Choose from 5.56 and 223 to 204 Ruger, 300 AAC Blackout, and 308 Varmint, Predator, Patrol, and MVP Flex System models. Adjustable trigger too. AR mags in a bolt rifle. The Mossberg MVP. See more at mossberg.com.
The XDM 3.8 Compact from Springfield Armory is 2 guns in 1. Use as your concealed carry gun with a compact magazine and use the extended magazine for home defense. Carry 13 rounds of 9mm in the compact magazine and a whopping 19 rounds in the extended magazine. To see the entire family of Springfield Armory XDM pistols, go to springfieldarmory.com. That's springfieldarmory.com.
If you carry a gun, you need training. Your concealed carry class was definitely not training. But time, money, and obligations keep you from spending days at a shooting school. The trusted folks at Gun Talk can help. Concealed Carry 1, our DVD featuring the VADA Group, covers what gun, what holster, how to carry, where to wear your gun, and much more. Visit shopguntalk.com. That's shopguntalk.com. Look, this really is life and death. Learn how to stay aware, how to get away, and how to fight if you must. At shopguntalk.com, you can get the 2 DVD set, including Fighting with the 1911 with Tiger McKee. No matter what gun you carry, this vital training info can save your life. Learn the draw, the stance, reloading, vital gear from Gun Talk. That's shopguntalk.com. shopguntalk.com.
Every day, law enforcement agencies worldwide put their trust in the HST bullet from Federal Premium Ammunition. Built to protect our streets and defend our freedoms, HST, in its iconic mushroom, provide reliable and consistent performance. That same technology is now available for your personal defense needs when protecting your home and defending your family. Personal Defense HST. Proven, trusted performance. Federal Premium Ammunition. Every shot counts.
TopGunSupply.com carries a large selection of fine firearms and accessories. Get all the parts you need for your Sig Sauer, HK, and Glock pistols. Grips, screws, recoil springs, sights, barrels, magazines, holsters. The list goes on. Our knowledgeable sales staff, professional service, great prices, and super fast shipping are here to help you. Check us out today. TopGunSupply.com. TopGunSupply.com.
Having fun talking about guns. Going to be talking about some scopes and optics and binoculars and red dots and all kind of stuff as we hit the top of the hour when we come back. But until then, we're taking your calls, 866-TALK-GUN. And if you want to talk about optics, got a question about scopes, sighting any of that, get ready. We'll have a lot of that coming up for you. Let's see, Chuck's in Portland, Oregon on 3. Hey, Chuck, what was going on in Washington State on this initiative?
Hi, Tom. Are you talking to me, sir?
Yes, I am.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't. You just came on suddenly. Basically, what I understood was, and everything I saw was the all the. I'm trying to think of the word here. All the ballots, that ballot measure that came out, right. All the ratings that they were giving it were showing it going down. Actually, it was not going to pass. Mm-hmm. Then a week or so before the actual elections, they had a school shooting. Mm-hmm. And, of course, after the school shooting, all I heard from anybody on our side was crickets. You know, basically there was nothing. So they basically, what it sounds like to me is they just got caught with their pants down, didn't realize, you know, what had happened. And, you know, of course, with the NRA, the other thing you got to think about that is if they're going to win the ballot measure, why invest a whole bunch of money into it? And then they had something out of the ordinary happen, and that changed the electoral vote on it.
So I'm not quite sure I'm understanding when you say if the NRA, I mean, the NRA if they were looking at it and saying, okay, one perspective is we know that the plan is to take this across the country to go start in Washington State. Why wouldn't you throw a ton of effort and money into stopping it before it gets started? Don't let them have a big success and get moving with it.
Well, and that's actually a very good point. They probably should have invested more into it as they had, and they should have came up with a plan in case something like this school shooting happened. They should have come up with some type of advertisement or a plan to help counter the argument. You see what I'm saying? Yeah,
I do. And of course, I mean, it's one of those deals of what do you say when you realize that the measure 594, a ban on transfers, private transfers of guns, even if you loan a gun to somebody, that's illegal. If he gives it back to you, that becomes a felony offense. I mean, if you loan it to somebody, he hands it back to you, that's a felony. And that will be the law in Washington State now. That is going to be the law. The obvious part for those of us on the gun side, we're looking at a school shooting and saying, that has nothing to do with this. At school, and this transfer ban has nothing to do with the school shooting. But, of course, the media will, as they say, conflate those, put them together in such a way that, if you feel bad about a school shooting, then you should vote for this gun ban, this gun control measure over here, which, of course, has nothing to do with it. But it'll sure make you feel better.
That is correct. And
I think that's a lot of what was going on, don't you?
Yeah. That's basically what was going on, and it changed how people's view on that shooting happened. And, of course, the people that were trying to get this measure shot, brought down, they didn't have basically a backup plan for something like this. I mean, how would you think about it?
Yeah, I understand. Thanks, Chuck. I appreciate your call. Mike's in Phoenix on line 4. He's got a thought on this Washington State initiative. Hey, Mike, what you thinking? Let's see if Mike's there. Mike, you there?
Hello, Tom.
Yes, sir. How are you, Mike?
I'm talking about that issue in Washington. I mean, It's easy to blame the NRA. The people themselves have got to get off their rear end and get out there and vote. And quit blaming the NRA for everything. They do a lot.
What do they do?
Good organization.
What do they do?
And other people ought to learn from Washington.
Hey, Mike, let me ask you. You said the NRA does a lot, and I agree they do a lot, but what did they do in Washington State? What did they? Because we know this was not a state referendum. This was a national issue. If you stop it there, you stop it. If you let it win there, now it spreads like a cancer across the U.S. So I guess my question to you is, since we're members of the NRA, why shouldn't we say, guys, where were you? Why aren't you involved in this? Why aren't you supporting the opposition initiative? Is that not a worthwhile, legitimate question to ask?
There's nothing wrong with that question, Tom, but just to blame the NRA for what people didn't do and get out there and vote. Other states have got to now, people listening to this, realize what's going on and get out there and vote. Don't stay home.
Well, I mean, I agree with you. We clearly did not have the votes. In this case, I think you probably had all the gun votes. The battle was for the big middle. It was for the 80% of people in the middle who are neither pro nor anti, and you get that vote with dollars. It's as simple as that. I mean, that's how you get that vote. You spend money. We got outspent 8-1. They spent 8 times as much money pushing this gun ban, this ban on transfers of guns in Washington State, because they had Bill Gates, they had Paul Allen, they had Tom Steyer's, they had Bloomberg's money, they had all these billionaires spending money, and we have us. And, we got us putting in our 10, 20, 25 bucks at a time. And, of course, the NRA spent some money. And I'm not saying they didn't do what they're supposed to do, but I just keep hearing from people in Washington State who say, we didn't see them. They didn't spend much. They came in late. They didn't support the opposition initiative, which was the strategy. If you could get both of them approved, then it goes to court and you could get it nullified. That was the strategy from the very beginning. The idea was 594, the ban on transfers, was probably going to pass. But if we can pass 591, we can get it sent to a court and we can get the whole thing nullified. There was a strategy in place. I don't know what was going on. I don't know if it was the not invented here syndrome. I don't know if it was we don't work with other groups? I don't know. If you know, I'd love to hear about it. 866-TALK-GUN. If you were on the ground there, let me know. Tell you what, we'll talk to when we come back. We got you lined up. Debbie, Steve, Rodney. And we've got time for you. 866-TALK-GUN.
You don't have to agree with Tom to participate in the show. Call now with any of your concerns about guns, gun rights, or particular firearms, or suggestions for your shooting activity or personal protection. 1-866-825-5486. Gun Talk is coming right back.
All right, back with the 866-TALK-GUN. Get you into Gun Talk, where we're talking about guns, of course. Let's go talk to Debbie. She's on line 2 out of Texas. Hey, Debbie, you're on Gun Talk.
Hey, how are you doing?
I am good. What you looking for?
Well, I have a question. It's off the politics end of everything.
Okay.
I've got arthritis pretty much all over my body, and one of the I don't have it in my hands, but one of the problems is my hands swell up a lot of the time. Mm-hmm. But I'm really wanting to get a handgun really soon, and I really like 9mm. Mm-hmm. But I'm afraid that I might have trouble to slide.
Okay.
And getting that, pulled back and everything. And so I was wondering what you'd recommend for a handgun with the ease of slide,
Right. Have you tried 9mm handguns and tried working the slide on them?
Yeah. Let me think. What's the last one? I've tried Ruger's,
mm-hmm.
And
how'd it work?
It's kind of depends on the day. I've not really had too much trouble with them.
Okay. Well, here's the thought. If you obviously it's a concern, you're thinking about it, and the smaller the gun is in a given caliber, the stronger the spring has to be on the slide to absorb the recoil, and so the harder it is to work the slide with your hands. So if you go to smaller guns, like for a carry gun, the slide's going to be harder to work. So my suggestion would be consider going to not a 9mm, but a .380 caliber pistol. It has almost the power of a 9mm, but the slides are much easier to work.
Okay.
There's Ruger has one called the LC 380. SIG has some. Don't get the little bitty ones. Okay, Ruger has one called the LCP, and there's a Keltec, real small 380s. Those are going to be a little bit more difficult to operate, but a mid-size 380 is delightful. Real easy to work the slide on them, and with today's modern ammo, get good hollow point expanding ammo in your 380, and it works very well as a self-defense gun.
Okay.
So that would be my suggestion. Is look at some 380s, not the little bitty guys, but the mid-size, something like a Ruger LC 380 or the 380s from SIG. There's some nice ones out there. But try those and try them at the store. Work the slide with your hand. Just see if you can work it okay.
Okay.
All right. Well, good luck with it, Debbie. I appreciate that. And real quickly, Rodney in Omaha has got a way to get Cosmoline off. Hey, Rodney, what do you do?
Oh, for removing Cosmoline, I've discovered the easiest way is to use a heat gun. You can pick one up from Harbor Freight for under $20. Just make sure you got something under and some cloth handy. And for the smaller parts that's kind of hard to hold, just use G96 gun cleaner, and that will remove it. But you can just heat up the metal, and stuff will just run off.
Just be careful, because, heat guns can get really hot. You could actually end up burning the stock if you're not careful.
Just take it out of the stock and that stuff, and just be careful, so you don't get it too hot. Sometimes, you just got to be careful about doing it. But I found that's the best way.
Huh. Okay. Now, what kind of guns have you removed Cosmoline from?
Recently, I just did a Grand that I picked up. That was a CMP gun that was just still packed in it. Nice.
Okay. Well, look, I appreciate that, Rodney. Heat gun. And also, of course, the nice part about a heat gun is that it gets you away from the chemicals. Because, of course, traditionally you're using a vat of some kind of a solvent. It's what has been done forever on those. And people have actually boiled their guns in water. And they put them. It's just amazing what people have done to get Cosmoline off of guns throughout history. So, heat gun, interesting idea. Tell you what, when we come back, we're going to be talking to an incredible couple, one of my favorite couples out there. They hunt, they write about hunting, they write about guns, they write about optics, they write about reloading, super accurate stuff, and also game recipes, just very cool stuff. There's so much we're going to be talking about. Optics, red dots, scopes, binoculars, whatever. It's all about optics and hunting and accuracy and game when we come back.
No black helicopters here, just the facts about gun rights and gun ownership. This is Gun Talk.